Hello, welcome back. Time now for Media Watch with James Creedon. Hello, James.
Good evening, Louise.
Now, James, I want to know more about these face deals cameras. As a Facebook user myself, apparently they recognise you as you enter a shop using your Facebook photos.
Exactly, and the idea is, or at least this is how it's being marketed, you'll get special deals, you'll get a kind of a reduction, etc. Let's roll some of the pictures of what this face deal camera is all about. Now, as you can see, it looks very like Facebook in terms of the marketing. Now, the company behind it is Red Pepper, based in Nashville, Tennessee. So the idea is they scan and match your face likeness to your Facebook profile, generating customized deals, etc., etc. Now, the app must be authorized via your Facebook account. And the idea then is custom developed cameras, use this existing data to identify you in the real world. So there you go. There's a pilot version being used at the moment, and it's being rolled out in Tennessee.
Wow, I'm sure those rowing over the privacy will have something to say about that.
Certainly, and we'll be talking more about that in a sec. But first of all, Minority Report, people have been comparing it to the movie
sound a little like it.
Minority Report. Now, for those who don't know, let's roll some pictures from the film where you see actor Tom Cruise having an interactive shopping experience. Let's take a listen.
John Anderton provides gourmet cuisine.
John Anderton, you could use a Guinness right about now.
Stressed out, John Anderton.
Get away, John Anderton. Forget your troubles.
All right, so the idea there was that he was in a shopping centre and dozens of cameras were using eye retina or eye iris. So you'd kind of wonder, is that where we're heading to now with these new kind of face deal cameras? Now, what's interesting about this, I think, is they say this has nothing to do with Facebook, even though, of course, they're using Facebook for the application. And I wonder myself, is it not in some way linked to Facebook, but perhaps because it's such a controversial technology, it's a company in and of its own right. It's very strange because, in fact, Facebook have come in for a lot of criticism from last year when they introduced face recognition for tagging people's photos. Let's take a look on the computer. This is an article from last year. Facebook facial recognition system criticized. Now, that was back in, I think, June of 2011. Now, what they did was they didn't tell users that they'd begun implementing tag suggestions. So, for example, if you're in a photo with your friends, that they might recognize who your friends are and suggest, hey, Louise, why don't you tag James or whoever it is, right?
It happened to me the other day with a friend.
That's right.
And it surprised me.
This is it. And it is very, they didn't, when they initially rolled it out, tell users what was happening, right? Or ask their permission. Now, in Germany, let's take a look at this. It came out in Wednesday of this week. There's an article about German officials who are reopening privacy investigations against Facebook for this face recognition technology. They claim in Germany that there's a possibility that Facebook has a database with all of this face recognition material in it, and that perhaps users are not being consulted or informed about this big stock of personal private data being accumulated by the company. So they have come in for criticism in Norway. They came in for criticism in Ireland about this as well, actually. Also a US senator, and now Germany opening an investigation into face recognition technology. It's like something out of Minority Report.
Minority Report. It sounds like Facebook knows more about us than we do.
I think possibly, yes.
It's a bit of a scary thought.
Yeah.
Now, there are other technological advancements in recognising customers in shops, sound waves.
That's right. It's not just facial recognition. This is an article in Mashable with the tech website, and it's about sound waves. Now, this was developed, it's called SonicNotify. The idea is that let's say you're in the dairy aisle of your shop and you have your smartphone on you. You could receive mobile recommendations and discounts for certain brands. That's the idea. So it's using audio waves or sound waves. So if the shop has, let's say, an internal radio station, that could be used to have sort of sounds that would be invisible to the human ear, but that would then trigger mechanisms on your phone. It's all very space age, and users would have to sign up for this, of course, because the way they're talking about this in the article, I think they make it sound like a fun experience. Imagine the luxury of walking into a coffee shop and receiving a personalized drinks deal on your smartphone or tablet, or receiving an automated mobile thank you for watching a film exactly an hour after leaving the theatre. It sounds like hell to me, actually.
It sounds
being harassed
to me.
as soon as you go into Starbucks or somewhere. Hey, 30 50% off your coffee. But some people, you know, like these sort of ideas and they like discounts. And I suppose, you know, it's just about how it's used, really. But I think it's certainly invasive, to say the least.
And how much of your personal information you want other nondescript companies to know and use.
And I think that's the key point, Louise, as well, because they, for example, Red Pepper behind this Face Deal camera, they say, look, you have to authorize us to use this face recognition technology. We're not going to give this information to anybody else. But of course, you know, these sort of things, they start off that way, but then where does that information end up?
Exactly,
right?
That's what happened with Facebook. It started off being very simple, and then gradually it's built and built, and it acquires more and more information.
That's right.
It's
So
kind of like this rolling ball.
I think there are some real privacy concerns out there.
Absolutely, I'd agree with you. Now, back home here in France, James, one of its most famous philosophers has been making waves again.
That's right. Now, let's have a look at these pictures. These date from last year, Louise. You'll remember these pictures. They were in Libya. Nicolas Sarkozy with Bernard-Henri Lévy. Now, he was one of the chief proponents of international help for Libya, and indeed claims that he was the one who convinced Nicolas Sarkozy to send in the planes, etc., etc. Now, he has been calling for similar action in Syria. Now, François Hollande has received criticism from Nicolas Sarkozy and now Bernard-Henri Lévy for not being more interventionist, I suppose, in what's happening in Syria. Let's take a look online. He wrote an article in the Le Monde magazine saying Alep today is Benghazi yesterday. The Syrians are asking for help. We have to intervene. He also spoke on RMC radio saying, I want a meeting with François Hollande. François Hollande has not replied, so he's not been quite as welcoming in the Élysée Palace as Nicolas Sarkozy was. And indeed, the foreign minister, Laurent Fabius, has replied. He said, look, the UN hasn't in any way given the green light for this. That's the big difference. With Libya, these are two situations that are not really comparable.
Well, maybe Bernard-Henri Lévy can unite the Security Council then.
His ego might be big enough. I didn't say that, sorry.
Thank you very much, James. James Creedon with our Media Watch. Time for a quick break. Let's take a look now at the latest buzz in cyberspace that's now in Web News.